My beloved child, stop for a moment. Before you move on, before you let the noise of the world pull your attention away again, listen carefully to what I am about to tell you. This is not an accident. This is not a coincidence. You are not hearing these words because of chance. Long before you arrived at this moment, I knew you would be here. I saw the struggles that brought you here. I saw the questions that have been weighing on your heart. I saw the silent battles you never spoke about. And I brought you here because there is something you need to hear today. Do not scroll past this moment. Do not dismiss it as just another message among thousands. Heaven has been waiting for you. For days, weeks, perhaps even months, you have been carrying burdens that were never meant to crush your spirit. You have smiled when others were watching, yet inside you felt exhausted. You have continued moving forward, yet there were moments when you wondered how much longer you could keep going. I know. I have seen every tear you wiped away before anyone noticed. I have heard every prayer you whispered when the room was empty. I have listened to every question that echoed through your mind when answers seemed nowhere to be found. And today, I want you to know this. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are not abandoned. The enemy has worked hard to convince you otherwise. He has whispered that nothing is changing. He has told you that your waiting has been pointless. He has tried to make you believe that your prayers have gone unheard. But those whispers are lies. If only you could see what has been happening beyond your sight. If only you could see the doors I have been preparing. If only you could see the obstacles I have already removed. If only you could see how close you truly are. That is why I am asking you to stay. Not because I need your attention, but because your heart needs this message. There is something I want to reveal to you. There is a truth you have nearly forgotten. There is a promise you are in danger of giving up on too soon. Stay with me. Lean in closer. Do not let distraction steal this moment from you. The world is filled with voices competing for your attention, but very few will speak life into your spirit. Very few will remind you that I am still working when you cannot see it. Very few will tell you that your story is not ending where you thought it would. My child, hear me clearly. The chapter you are living through right now is not the final chapter. The waiting is not the ending. The struggle is not the ending. The silence is not the ending. Something is shifting. Something is moving. Something is being prepared, even now. And before this message is over, I want to show you why the battle has been so intense, why the waiting has felt so long, and why you must not give up now. Because you are closer than you realize, closer than yesterday, closer than last month, closer than you have dared to believe. So stay with me, my beloved child. Heaven has been waiting for this moment. My beloved child, there is something I need you to understand today. I saw the battle, not the battle everyone else could see. Not the struggles you talked about openly. Not the challenges you posted about or shared with those around you. I saw the battle you carried in silence. I saw the war that took place behind your smile. I saw the moments when you sat alone, exhausted from pretending that everything was fine. I saw the weight you carried when you felt responsible for everyone else's happiness, while your own heart was quietly breaking. I saw the nights when sleep would not come because your mind was crowded with worries, fears, and unanswered questions. You thought no one noticed, but I noticed. You thought no one understood, but I understood. You thought your tears disappeared into the darkness, but I collected every one of them. There were days when you felt strong enough to keep moving. Then there were days when simply getting out of bed felt like a victory. There were moments when you wanted to keep believing, but disappointment kept whispering that nothing would ever change. I heard those whispers. I know how many times you questioned your future. I know how many times you wondered whether your prayers were making any difference. I know how many times you asked, Lord, where are you? And even when you could not feel my presence, I was there. When you cried alone, I was there. When you sat in silence, I was there. When fear told you that you would never overcome what you were facing, I was there. My child, some of your greatest battles were invisible to the people around you. Others saw your smile but not your anxiety. They saw your strength but not your exhaustion. They saw your faith but not the struggle it took to keep believing. But I saw it all. I saw every time you chose not to quit. I saw every time you got back up after disappointment knocked you down. I saw every time you continued praying even when heaven seemed silent. Do not underestimate the significance of those moments. The world celebrates visible victories, but heaven notices hidden faithfulness. Many people can remain faithful when everything is going well. Many can praise when the answers come quickly. Many can believe when miracles are easy to see. But it takes a different kind of faith to keep trusting when nothing makes sense. It takes a deeper faith to keep walking when the road ahead is unclear. And that is exactly what you have been doing. Even when you felt weak. Even when you felt discouraged. Even when you felt like giving up. You kept moving forward. Perhaps not as fast as you wanted. Perhaps not as confidently as you hoped. But you kept going. And I am proud of you for that. The enemy wanted you to believe that your struggle meant you were failing. He wanted you to interpret the battle as proof that I had abandoned you. He wanted you to see your difficulties as evidence that your future was slipping away. But the truth is very different. The battle was never proof that I left you. The battle was proof that your faith still mattered. The battle was proof that your purpose still mattered. The battle was proof that your future still mattered. You do not fight this hard over something worthless. You do not face this much opposition over something insignificant. The intensity of the battle has been revealing the value of what is inside you. That is why I need you to stop seeing yourself through the eyes of fear. Stop measuring your future by your current struggle. Stop judging my plan by what you can see today. There is more happening than you realize. There is more being prepared than you can imagine. And soon, very soon, you will begin to understand why this season had to unfold the way it did. But before I show you what has been happening behind the scenes, you must first understand one important truth. The silence you experienced was never abandonment. The waiting was never rejection. And what looked like nothing happening was actually the beginning of something far greater than you can currently see. My beloved child, I know there were moments when you looked around and wondered if anything was happening at all. You prayed. You waited. You hoped. Yet day after day, the circumstances around you seemed unchanged. The door remained closed. The answer did not come. The breakthrough did not appear. And slowly, a dangerous thought began to creep into your mind. Maybe nothing is going to change. I know that thought. I heard it when it passed through your heart. I heard the disappointment behind it. I heard the exhaustion behind it. I heard the fear behind it. You believed that because you could not see movement, there must not have been any movement. But, my child, what you could see was only a tiny portion of the story. The greatest works I perform often begin in places human eyes cannot reach. Consider a seed buried deep beneath the soil. For weeks it appears lifeless. Nothing seems to happen. Nothing breaks the surface. Nothing visible changes. Yet beneath the ground, roots are spreading. Strength is forming. Life is developing. Preparation is taking place. And when the appointed time arrives, what was hidden suddenly becomes visible. Your season has been much like that seed. You judged your progress by what appeared above the surface. I was working beneath it. You measured by appearances. I was building foundations. You focused on delays. I focused on preparation. What looked like inactivity was actually divine activity. What looked like silence was strategic movement. What looked like waiting was preparation for something larger than you imagined. My beloved, if I had answered every prayer the moment you requested it, many of those answers would have become burdens instead of blessings. You often pray for the destination. I prepare you for the journey. You ask for the reward. I prepare the character needed to carry it. You ask me to open doors. I prepare you to walk through them, because I love you too much to give you something before you are ready to sustain it. There were opportunities you thought you lost. I protected you. There were relationships you thought should have remained. I protected you. There were plans that fell apart and left you confused. I protected you. At the time, it felt like disappointment. Now you may not fully understand it. But one day you will look back and realize that some of your greatest blessings arrived disguised as closed doors. You have been asking, Lord, why did it take so long? The answer is simple. Because I was working on more than the problem. I was working on you. I was strengthening your faith, teaching your spirit endurance, deepening your trust, building a foundation that would not collapse when success arrived. The world celebrates quick results, but heaven values lasting transformation. I am not interested in giving you temporary victories that disappear overnight. I am building something deeper, something stronger, something that will endure. That is why the waiting season has felt so long. Not because I forgot you, not because I ignored you, not because I abandoned you, but because the blessing required preparation. The promise required growth. The future required timing. My child, there are things happening right now that you cannot yet see. Conversations are taking place. Doors are being positioned. Obstacles are being removed. Paths are being aligned. Even now, while you listen to these words, I am working in places your eyes cannot reach. Never mistake my silence for absence. Never mistake delay for denial. Never mistake waiting for abandonment. I have been moving every step of the way, and the enemy knows this. That is why he keeps trying to convince you to quit. He knows something you have forgotten. He knows that people rarely give up at the beginning. They give up when they are closest. They quit when the breakthrough is near. They walk away when the answer is already approaching. And that is exactly why I am speaking to you now. Do not give up. Do not turn back. Do not allow temporary frustration to rob you of permanent blessing. Because before this season is over, you will discover that what looked like delay was actually preparation. What looked like silence was actually protection. And what looked like nothing happening was heaven quietly arranging everything you will soon need for the next chapter of your life. Stay with me, my child, because what I am about to reveal next will help you understand why the battle became so intense and why the enemy fought so hard to make you lose hope. My beloved child, have you ever wondered why certain battles seem so relentless? Why some seasons felt heavier than others? Why the pressure intensified precisely when you were trying to move closer to me? You thought perhaps it was because you were weak. You thought perhaps it was because you were failing. You thought perhaps it was a sign that something was wrong with you. But hear me carefully now. The enemy did not attack you because you were weak. He attacked you because he saw something valuable. He attacked what he feared most. A thief does not break into an empty house. A thief targets what carries value. In the same way, many of the battles you have faced were not evidence of your insignificance. They were evidence of the treasure I placed within you. The enemy saw your potential long before you did. He saw the faith that would one day inspire others. He saw the testimony being formed through your struggles. He saw the strength being developed in your weakness. He saw the purpose attached to your life. And because he could not destroy what I created, he tried to convince you to destroy it yourself through discouragement, fear, and unbelief. Think about the areas where the battle has been the strongest. Has he attacked your peace? Then perhaps there is a level of peace I am preparing you to walk in that he fears. Has he attacked your confidence? Then perhaps there is a calling that requires you to stand boldly. Has he attacked your hope? Then perhaps there is a future brighter than you currently realize. Has he attacked your faith? Then perhaps your faith carries more power than you understand. The enemy rarely wastes energy attacking what has no purpose. His greatest attacks often reveal heaven's greatest plans. My child, there were times when you felt completely overwhelmed. The pressure seemed endless. One problem disappeared, and another arrived. One battle ended, and another began. You asked, why is this happening to me? But perhaps a better question is this. What is the enemy so afraid of? Because if you look closely, you will begin to see a pattern. Every attack has been aimed at something important. Every battle has targeted something valuable. Every lie has attempted to distort a truth that heaven wants you to embrace. When he told you that you were forgotten, it was because you are deeply loved. When he told you that you were worthless, it was because your value terrified him. When he told you that your future was hopeless, it was because he knew hope was still alive inside you. When he told you to quit, it was because he feared what would happen if you kept going. Do not believe every thought that enters your mind. Not every voice deserves your agreement. Not every fear deserves your attention. Some of those fears were carefully designed to distract you from the destiny I have prepared. The enemy wanted you focused on the storm. I wanted you focused on my promise. The enemy wanted you staring at the obstacle. I wanted you looking toward the destination. The enemy wanted you measuring your life by your current pain. I wanted you measuring it by my eternal purpose. My beloved, there is something powerful about the fact that you are still here. You have been hurt, yet you still believe. You have been disappointed, yet you still pray. You have been tested, yet you still seek me. You have been attacked, yet you have not surrendered. That matters more than you know. Every time you chose faith over fear, you weakened the enemy's influence. Every time you continued trusting me despite uncertainty, you moved one step closer to your breakthrough. Every time you refused to give up, heaven recorded another victory. You may not feel victorious today. You may still see unanswered questions. You may still carry concerns about the future. But I want you to remember this truth. The fact that you survived the battle is evidence that my hand has been upon you. The fact that your faith remains alive is evidence that my spirit has sustained you. The fact that you are listening to these words right now is evidence that your story is not over. Do not let the intensity of the battle convince you that defeat is coming. Often the fiercest resistance appears when you are approaching a significant breakthrough. Often the darkest hour comes just before dawn. Often the strongest opposition emerges when the enemy realizes he is losing his hold. So lift your eyes, my child. The battle has not been revealing your weakness. It has been revealing your value, and what I am about to show you next will help you understand why every season of waiting, every tear, and every struggle has been preparing you for something far greater than you imagined. My beloved child, if you are still here listening to these words, I want you to recognize something important. You could have left. You could have allowed distraction to pull you away. You could have convinced yourself to listen another time, but you stayed. That choice matters more than you realize. Every moment you remain is a declaration that your faith is stronger than your doubts. Every moment you stay is a sign that hope is still alive inside your heart. I believe you are here for a reason. I believe God is speaking directly to your situation, and I believe your breakthrough is closer than it appears. If this message is touching your heart, type Amen in the comments as a declaration of faith. Let it be your way of saying, Lord, I will not give up. And if you believe God is still working behind the scenes, even when you cannot see it, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to this channel. Now stay with me, because what comes next may reveal why heaven has been preparing this season for far longer than you realize. My beloved child, one of the greatest lies the enemy has tried to place in your heart is the belief that your waiting has been wasted. He has whispered, look at how much time has passed. He has pointed to the calendar and reminded you of every delay. He has shown you opportunities that seemed missed. He has compared your journey to the journeys of others, and little by little he has tried to convince you that you have fallen behind. But hear me clearly now. You are not behind. You are not forgotten, and your waiting season has not been wasted. I know there were days when you questioned everything. Days when you looked at your life and wondered why progress seemed so slow. You watched others move ahead. You watched doors open for them. You watched prayers answered for them. And sometimes you asked me, Lord, when will it be my turn? My child, comparison has stolen peace from many hearts. What you see in another person's life is only a small part of their story. You do not see their preparation. You do not see their hidden battles. You do not see the timing I have assigned to their journey. And most importantly, you do not see the unique path I have prepared for you. Your story was never meant to look like theirs. Your calling was never meant to mirror theirs. Your timing was never meant to follow their schedule. I am writing a different story with your life. That is why your journey cannot be measured by someone else's progress. The waiting season was never punishment. It was preparation. Think about a mighty tree. Before its branches stretch toward the sky, its roots must grow deep beneath the ground. The deeper the roots, the greater the stability. The stronger the foundation, the greater the height the tree can eventually reach. Yet when roots are growing, nothing impressive appears above the surface. To human eyes, it seems as though nothing is happening. But beneath the soil, strength is developing, depth is forming, capacity is increasing. Your life has been much the same. While you were praying, I was strengthening roots. While you were waiting, I was building character. While you were wondering where I was preparing you for things your current understanding could not yet grasp. Nothing was wasted. Not the tears. Not the disappointments. Not the unanswered questions. Not the lonely nights. Not the painful lessons. Not the delays. Every experience has been woven into the story I am creating. even the things that seemed broken, even the things you wish had never happened, even the moments that left scars on your heart. I can use all of it, for I am a God who redeems. I take what was meant for harm and transform it into something beautiful. I take setbacks and turn them into stepping stones. I take wounds and turn them into wisdom. I take seasons of waiting and turn them into testimonies. My beloved, one day you will look back and see that many things had to happen in a certain order. You will realize that if some doors had opened earlier, they would have led you into places you were not ready to handle. You will realize that if certain prayers had been answered immediately, they would have produced temporary satisfaction but long-term struggle. You will realize that my timing was protecting you even when it frustrated you. My timing was guiding you even when it confused you. My timing was blessing you even when it appeared to delay you. Do not despise this season. Do not curse the process. Do not view these years through the lens of disappointment. View them through the eyes of faith. For every day of waiting has been accomplishing something important. Every day has been adding strength. Every day has been adding wisdom. Every day has been preparing you for what is coming next. The enemy wants you to focus on what has not happened yet. I want you to recognize what has already changed inside you. You are stronger than you were, wiser than you were, more faithful than you were, closer to me than you were. The growth may have been gradual, but it has been real. And now, because your roots have grown deeper, you are becoming ready for things that would have overwhelmed the person you used to be. Stay with me, my child, because what I am about to reveal next will show you that heaven has been preparing far more behind the scenes than you ever imagined. The waiting season is not the end of your story. It is the preparation for the chapter that is about to begin. My beloved child, there is a reason I have asked you not to give up. There is a reason I have called you to remain faithful through the waiting. There is a reason I have urged you to keep trusting me even when you could not see what I was doing. It is because heaven has been preparing things in secret. While you were focused on what had not happened yet, I was working on things you could not see. While you were worrying about closed doors, I was arranging the right doors. While you were grieving over delays, I was aligning the perfect timing. While you were questioning whether anything was changing, I was already moving pieces into place. My child, not every miracle begins with something visible. Many miracles begin in silence. Many breakthroughs begin in hidden places. Many answers begin long before anyone can recognize them. Think about a seed once more. The seed spends most of its journey hidden beneath the soil. No applause follows its growth. No one celebrates its progress. No one notices the roots spreading beneath the surface. Yet that hidden growth is what eventually makes visible fruit possible. You have been living through a hidden season, and hidden seasons are often misunderstood. People see the waiting but not the preparation. They see the silence but not the activity. They see the delay but not the divine arrangement taking place behind the scenes. But I see it all. I see every detail. I know every connection that must be made, every obstacle that must be removed, every lesson that must be learned, every opportunity that must be positioned. Nothing is random. Nothing is accidental. Nothing is outside of my control. Even now, there are things moving that you know nothing about. Conversations are happening. Hearts are changing. Doors are being unlocked. Circumstances are shifting. The future is being arranged in ways that would astonish you if you could see it all. This is why I have repeatedly told you to trust me beyond what your eyes can see. Human vision is limited. You see today, I see tomorrow. You see the obstacle, I see the solution. You see the waiting, I see the fulfillment. You see the chapter you are currently living in. I see the entire story. My beloved, some of the prayers you think remain unanswered are already in motion. Some of the blessings you believe are delayed are already approaching. Some of the breakthroughs you think are distant are far closer than you realize. The enemy wants you to believe that because you cannot see movement, there is no movement. But he has always been a liar. He wants discouragement to make you quit before the harvest arrives. He wants frustration to make you abandon the field before the fruit appears. He wants impatience to convince you that the promise is never coming. Do not listen to him. Listen to me. I have never failed my children. I have never abandoned those who trust in me. I have never forgotten a promise. And I have not forgotten yours. The things I spoke over your life still stand. The purpose I placed within you still remains. The plans I created for you still exist. Nothing the enemy has done has been able to cancel what I have already ordained. There were moments when you feared you had missed your opportunity. You feared you had made too many mistakes. You feared you had wandered too far from the path. But my child, my plans are greater than your mistakes. My mercy is greater than your failures. My power is greater than your setbacks. I am able to restore what was lost, redeem what was broken, and bring beauty from what once seemed ruined. That is what I have been doing in secret. That is what heaven has been preparing. Not merely a blessing, not merely an answer, but a future that reflects my goodness and my faithfulness. So, do not become discouraged now. Do not grow weary now. Do not stop believing now. For the very fact that the battle has intensified may be evidence that something significant is drawing near. Stay close to me. Stay rooted in prayer. Stay anchored in faith. Because what I am about to tell you next carries a warning that you cannot afford to ignore. The blessing may be near, but you must be careful not to return to the very things I am delivering you from. My beloved child, as you stand on the edge of a new season, there is something I must warn you about. Do not return to what I have been delivering you from. I know the waiting has been difficult. I know the process has tested your patience. I know there were moments when the familiar seemed easier than the unknown. But do not mistake familiarity for safety. Many people pray for change, yet when change begins to come, they become frightened by it. They look back toward old habits, old fears, old ways of thinking, because those things feel comfortable. But comfort is not always where my blessing lives. Sometimes comfort becomes a cage. Sometimes familiarity becomes a prison. And sometimes the very thing you are tempted to return to is the thing I have been working to free you from. My child, I did not bring you this far for you to turn around now. I did not strengthen you through countless battles so you could surrender to old fears. I did not heal parts of your heart so you could reopen wounds that were finally beginning to close. You have changed more than you realize. You are not the same person you were a year ago. You are not the same person you were when this difficult season began. You have grown. You have learned. You have endured. And because you have endured, you are ready for things that once would have overwhelmed you. The enemy knows this. That is why he keeps trying to pull your attention backward. He reminds you of old failures, old regrets, old disappointments, old identities. He wants you to live in yesterday because he fears what will happen if you fully step into tomorrow. Do not listen to him. The version of you that lived in constant fear is not who I created you to be. The version of you that believed every negative thought is not who I created you to be. The version of you that measured your worth by the opinions of others is not who I created you to be. I am calling you higher. I am calling you forward. I am calling you into freedom. But freedom requires trust. You cannot enter a new season while clinging to old chains. You cannot receive new wine while refusing to release old containers. You cannot embrace the future while constantly looking behind you. My beloved, some things must remain in the past. The bitterness must remain there. The shame must remain there. The unforgiveness must remain there. The lies about your identity must remain there. Leave them at my feet. Stop carrying burdens that I never asked you to carry. Stop fighting battles that I already won for you. Stop allowing old wounds to define your future. You are not your mistakes. You are not your failures. You are not the worst thing that ever happened to you. You belong to me. And because you belong to me, your future is not determined by your past. It is determined by my purpose. There may still be days when fear tries to return. There may still be moments when doubt knocks on the door of your mind. There may still be seasons when old temptations attempt to pull you backward. But remember this, you do not have to answer every voice. You do not have to entertain every fear. You do not have to return to every place that once held you captive. You have been called forward. You have been called upward. You have been called into greater things. That is why I am asking you to keep your eyes fixed on me, not on the past, not on the failures, not on the disappointments. Keep your eyes on me. For the next chapter of your life cannot be built from yesterday's fears. It must be built upon today's faith. And if you continue walking with me, refusing to return to what I have delivered you from. You will soon begin to see evidence that the shift you have been praying for is already underway. The change is closer than you think. The breakthrough is nearer than you realize. And what I am about to reveal next will help you recognize the signs that heaven is already moving in your favor. My beloved child, one of the reasons you have felt confused recently is because you have been looking for dramatic signs while I have been working through subtle changes. You expected thunder. You expected an instant transformation. You expected everything to change overnight. But often, the greatest shifts begin quietly. They begin beneath the surface. They begin in places that cannot immediately be seen. And I tell you now, the shift you have been praying for has already begun. You may ask, Lord, if the shift has begun, why does my situation still look the same? Because not every change starts around you. Many changes start within you. Look at yourself honestly. You are not reacting the way you once did. You are not panicking as quickly as you once did. You are not allowing fear to control every decision the way it once did. You have grown stronger. You have grown wiser. You have grown closer to me. The very fact that you are still standing after everything you have faced is evidence of my work within you. The enemy wanted your struggles to destroy your faith. Instead, they deepened it. He wanted your disappointments to separate you from me. Instead, they taught you to depend on me more fully. He wanted your waiting season to make you bitter. Instead, it made you stronger. Can you see it now? The shift did not begin when circumstances changed. The shift began when your heart began changing. The shift began when you learned to trust me in uncertainty. The shift began when you stopped relying solely on what your eyes could see. The shift began when you chose faith over fear. That is why you must not become discouraged by appearances. A sunrise begins long before the sun becomes visible. The first light appears while much of the landscape is still covered in darkness. Yet the darkness cannot stop what is coming. In the same way, some parts of your life may still appear unchanged. Some prayers may still seem unanswered. Some questions may still remain. But the first light has already appeared. The process has already started. The movement has already begun. My child, I am preparing you not only for a blessing but for a new level of trust, a new level of maturity, and a deeper relationship with me. The miracle is not only what I am going to do for you, the miracle is also who you are becoming. Never underestimate that transformation. For the person you are becoming will be able to carry blessings that the old version of you could not sustain. The person you are becoming will be able to walk through doors that once would have intimidated you. The person you are becoming will be able to handle responsibilities that once would have overwhelmed you. That is why I tell you again, do not judge your progress too quickly. Do not assume that nothing is happening. Do not allow temporary appearances to define eternal reality. The shift has already begun. Heaven is already moving. Your season is already changing. And if you continue walking with me, you will soon recognize that what once felt impossible is becoming possible. Stay faithful. Stay hopeful. Stay close to me, because the door you have been praying for is far nearer than you realize, and what I am about to reveal next may encourage your heart more than you expect. My beloved child, I know there have been moments when you wondered if the door you have been praying for would ever open. You knocked, you waited, you trusted, yet the answer seemed delayed, and as time passed, hope became harder to hold. But I want you to hear me clearly now. The door you have been praying for is nearer than you realize, not because of your strength, not because of your perfection, but because my timing is approaching. Many people abandon hope just before the breakthrough arrives. They become weary in the final stretch. They mistake delay for defeat. They assume that because they cannot see the answer is not coming. Do not make that mistake. You are closer than yesterday, closer than last month, closer than last year, closer than you realize. My child, there are seasons when progress is measured in inches rather than miles, seasons when growth is happening quietly and steadily, seasons when heaven appears silent, yet is actually preparing everything necessary for the next step. This has been one of those seasons. The enemy has worked hard to convince you that nothing is changing, but the truth is that many things have already changed. You have changed. Your faith has grown. Your perspective has matured. Your dependence upon me has deepened. And now you are approaching a moment that could not have arrived earlier because you were still becoming the person capable of receiving it. Remember this: a door opened too early can become a burden. A blessing received too soon can become a distraction. But a promise fulfilled at the right time becomes a testimony. That is why my timing matters. That is why your waiting mattered. That is why your endurance mattered. Nothing has been wasted. Nothing has been forgotten. Nothing has escaped my attention. Even now, I am positioning things that will soon make sense to you. Connections are being aligned. Opportunities are being prepared. Obstacles are being removed. And although you cannot yet see the entire picture, I can. Trust me with what you do not understand. Trust me with what you cannot control. Trust me with what remains unanswered. For the same God who carried you through every difficult season is the God who will lead you into the next one. Do not let fear talk you out of faith. Do not let discouragement steal your expectation. Do not allow temporary circumstances to convince you that my promises have failed. They have not failed. They are still alive. They are still moving toward fulfillment. My beloved, hold on a little longer. Pray a little longer. Believe a little longer. For what seems distant today may soon be standing directly before you. And one day you will look back on this season and understand that the waiting was not meant to harm you. It was preparing you for something far greater than you could see. That is what I want to show you next. My beloved child, there is coming a day when you will look back on this season through different eyes. A day when the questions that trouble you now will no longer carry the same weight. A day when the confusion will give way to clarity. A day when you will finally understand why the waiting was necessary. Right now, you see only fragments. You see unfinished chapters. You see prayers that seem delayed. You see doors that have not yet opened. But I see the completed story. I see how every piece fits together. I see how every disappointment redirected you from something that would have harmed you. I see how every delay protected you from arriving too soon. I see how every closed door guided you toward a better one. One day, you will see it too. You will realize that what felt like rejection was often redirection. What felt like silence was preparation. What felt like loss was protection. And what felt like waiting was actually growth. My child, some lessons can only be understood after the storm has passed. Some answers become clear only after the journey is complete. That is why faith is so important. Faith allows you to trust me before understanding arrives. Faith allows you to keep walking, even when explanations are absent. Faith allows you to believe that my plans are good, even when circumstances appear uncertain. Do not regret the waiting season. Do not mourn the time you think was lost. Nothing was wasted. Every prayer strengthened your spirit. Every challenge developed your character. Every moment of endurance prepared you for the blessings ahead. The day is coming when gratitude will replace confusion. The day is coming when peace will replace frustration. The day is coming when testimony will replace questions. And when that day arrives, you will look back and say, "Now I understand." You will understand why I asked you to wait. You will understand why I told you not to quit. You will understand why I never stopped working, even when you could not see my hand. Until then, my beloved, continue trusting me. Continue walking with me. Continue believing, because the story is not finished yet, and the chapter ahead holds more hope, more purpose, and more blessing than you can currently imagine. My beloved child, as this message comes to a close, I want you to carry one truth with you above all else. You were never forgotten. Not for a single day. Not for a single moment. Even during the seasons when heaven seemed silent, I was with you. Even when you felt overlooked, I saw you. Even when you felt weak, I was strengthening you. Even when you believed nothing was changing, I was working behind the scenes. The enemy tried to convince you that you were alone. He tried to make you believe that your prayers had been ignored and your waiting had been meaningless. But none of those things were true. I heard every prayer. I saw every tear. I recorded every act of faithfulness. And I have been using all of it to prepare you for what lies ahead. My child, your story is not defined by your struggles. It is not defined by your setbacks. It is not defined by your fears. Your story is defined by my faithfulness. The same God who carried you through yesterday is carrying you today and will continue carrying you tomorrow. So lift your head. Take courage. Do not allow fear to write the ending of a story that I am still writing. The waiting season is not your final destination. The battle is not your identity. The delay is not your future. There is still purpose ahead. There is still hope ahead. There is still blessing ahead. And one day you will see that every step, every prayer, every moment of endurance was leading you toward something greater than you imagined. Until that day, remain close to me. Trust me. Walk with me. For I have never left your side, and I never will. You are loved. You are chosen. You are seen. And you are mine. Heavenly Father, thank you for speaking to our hearts today. Thank you for reminding us that we are not forgotten, not abandoned, and not alone. Lord, for every person listening to this prayer, I ask that you fill their heart with peace. When fear tries to overwhelm them, remind them that you are still in control. When doubt whispers lies, help them hear your truth more clearly than ever before. Father, strengthen those who are tired. Encourage those who feel discouraged. Comfort those who have been carrying burdens in silence. Let them know that every prayer has been heard and every tear has been seen by you. Help us trust you during the waiting seasons. Give us faith when answers seem delayed, and courage when the road ahead feels uncertain. Teach us to keep walking with you even when we cannot see the full picture. Lord, remove bitterness from our hearts. Replace fear with faith, anxiety with peace, and discouragement with hope. Help us release the past and step confidently into the future you have prepared for us. Thank you for your love, your mercy, and your faithfulness. Thank you for working behind the scenes even when we cannot see it. We place our lives, our families, our dreams, and our future into your hands. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. My beloved child, if this message has spoken to your heart today, do not leave without making a declaration of faith. The enemy wants you to stay silent. He wants you to leave this moment unchanged. But faith grows when it is declared. So right now, I invite you to type these words in the comments. I will not give up. God is working for me. Let that declaration be a reminder to your heart that your story is not over. Let it be a statement of faith that you still trust God, even when you cannot see the whole picture. And if this message encouraged you, take a moment to share it with someone who may be struggling through a season of waiting. You never know whose faith might be strengthened by a simple act of kindness. Also, remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you can continue receiving messages that draw you closer to God's presence and His promises. Most importantly, carry this truth with you today. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are not alone. God sees you. God loves you. God is working behind the scenes even now. Stay faithful. Stay hopeful. Stay in prayer. And remember, your breakthrough may be closer than you think. God bless you, and may His peace remain with you wherever you go.